Hello everyone, my name is Silvano and welcome to my channel, Silvasol Official. Today I want to talk about a little series called Alien Area. So Alien's Area is a manga that I recently read because the author Fusai Naba is currently writing another manga on the Shonen Jump right now, named Kyokuto Necromancer. That feels kinda like Shaman King 2.0 in vibes. That's not a bad connotation, it's a compliment to be honest, because with Shonen Jump that is oversaturated with Exorcist manga, Kyokuto Necromancer managed to feel unique and, to be honest, really solid right now. And because of that, I want to read a manga that I overlooked once it's ongoing back in 2022, named Aliens Area. And at the time, I just not interested into this series and just ignored this series completely. Not really because I read that one chapter on the end of its lifetime and chose to read anything else. And that is a mistake because when I finally read it, it's really great and very unique with your usual shonen jump spiced into its storytelling that makes you pondering about a lot of things in life. At least that my take for me personally. And even though it's really unique and very human in its storytelling, this series has a fatal flaw that hinders this series to go on. Unlike another alien manga from Shonen Jump Plus known as Down the Dawn, and I just can't stop thinking about it. What if Aliens Area managed to survive to this day, makes Down the Dawn and Aliens Area as the pioneer for alien-involving genre to become the new meta in Shonen Jump? But sadly, that will never happen, and because of that, I want to revisit our old friend and talk about what makes this series works and what makes this series fail to survive. In the new segment on my channel, revisiting an old friend, File 1, Aliens Area by Fusai Naba. But before I talk about this series further, I am pretty sure, like there's 19% of you who don't know about what Aliens Area actually is. And to make things simpler, I just read the synopsis for Aliens Area on the Wikipedia, which says as follows. High schooler Tatsumi Tatsunabe lost his parents at a young age, and now works multiple part-time jobs to support himself and his younger siblings. However, it turns out his right arm holds a very powerful piece of alien technology, and other aliens want it. However, after being saved by the strange man named Hajime Sharaku, Tatsunami is offered the chance of a lifetime to work with him at Section 5 of the Foreign Affairs Division and help protect the Earth from extraterrestrial threats. To support his siblings, Tatsumi takes it and starts his new adventure. So yeah, this series is a legit true alien manga that's full of space technology that I actually confused on how most of this space technology works. It's just so confusing, but put that aside, the space technology is actually pretty awesome, and I love almost all of it. If you want to grasp the idea of what Aliens Area actually is, it's just like Sakamura Days that is often said to be what if John Wick with anime, Aliens Area is what if Man in Black with anime, because coincidentally, almost all of the characters in this series wearing a black suit. And because I already laid the surface level understanding of what Aliens Area actually is, now I want to talk about why Aliens Area is working in the first place, and that is because of its unique settings. So imagine Area 51, but instead of one small place in America, it's the entire Earth. Yes, as I said, Man in Black with anime. So Aliens Area is actually referring to our Earth that is being used to do some shady activities from the aliens that is come and go to this Aliens Area. There is an alien that abducted woman from the Earth, and there is an alien that wants some dark matter from Tatsumi. Even there are an alien that does some illegal parking with his UFO on the Earth. There are an alien that worked himself as the top assassin on the universe that is tasked to kill some princess that suddenly got clapped by Hajime. We shall not talk about that. Even there's an alien that cosplay as a ninja with his camouflage space technology. And because of that, I really love the idea of the police department on this series because there are a lot of aliens with their own unique traits and personality. It makes every encounters with an alien not always resorts to a violence. That's what makes the police department in this series the legit police department. An official police department that is working with the government to specifically deal with shady activities from the aliens, just like the synopsis says, to protect the Earth from the extraterrestrial threats. This setting is at least unique in my opinion. But even with all of that, I saw Aliens Area not as a battle shonen manga that this series is being advertised of. Maybe. But I saw Aliens Area as a very light-hearted manga, where you can find a lot of fun from reading this series. You can read this manga when you are relaxing in your house or actually just wherever you are basically, and feel fun from this manga. Because there are a lot of slice of life type of chapter in this series that does some kind of shady things. This kind of storytelling maybe is the least things that you can think of when it comes to alien manga, because the author is doing a much more realistic approach on telling his own story in a unique way. That doesn't mean there aren't intense moments within this series. The answer is yes, there are some intense moments from this manga, but it can be counted with fingers. In other words, there are not a lot of intense moments in this manga because the story that is still focused on telling a story that many of you will consider as a filler, such as a chapter where Tatsumi having a moments with his senior at section 5, or as I would love to call, a bonding chapter with Ginji and Yume. And all of that chapter can be so relaxing to read. With a lot of space technology in this series can create a very unique and flashy battle scenario that I quite enjoy while reading this manga. I love the fact that the progression on this manga is progressing on a natural level. Like, when you read this manga, you can feel the slow progression that Tatsumi has to go through that can relate to us in the real life, because the author really takes his time to establish a lot of things that make the story of Aliens Area make sense. Just like what I said before, there is a chapter where Tatsumi goes on the road to deal with illegal parking by some alien with his UFO, and there is a chapter where Tatsumi learned to use some space technology to make him works better in the police department. Even in the first chapter, where most mangaka tends to give the most spectacle by bringing the very best of your series to make a good first impression, like the mangaka always indirectly tells to the readers, "This is the best that I can offer. If you want more of this, read my manga, invest in me, I'll give you more of this." But Aliens Area, even in its first chapter, feels so humble about introducing his series. The author seems to just do what he can do and doesn't make readers' expectation skyrockets. Aliens Area is an overall just a humble little series. And I think it's time to talk about the best aspects from Aliens Area, and it's when this series got serious. For example, this series has two main villains for each arc, but I don't want to talk about the top universe assassin since we promised to not talk about him in this video. But what I want to talk is about the end portion of Aliens Area. What I meant by this is when Aliens Area introduced us to the A3. What is an A3? A3 stands for Anti-Aliens Alliance, a group of people who protect the Earth from the alien invasion. Before this point, the story of Aliens Area is still within the realm of fun and relaxing. It's kind of episodic in some sense, and I love that. But after the A3 got introduced, it got intense. And when it got intense, this series became really good. I love the trends in Aliens Area, where there seems to be nothing bad can happen, but then it happened. And when it happened, it got bad, like really bad. This happened 2 times in this series. And I just love the fact that when we finally get a human as our main villain is where the story of Aliens Area brings out its most absolute potential. Like, the human drama that Aliens Area offers in this end portion is skyrocketed into the roof. Meet Yutaka, a person from the A3 who chose to surprise his partner on her birthday with blowing her up with a space technology. That is quite bombastic, pun definitely intended, and when this very tragic moment happened, Hajime chose to let the bomb man go, resulting in Yutaka who says that they are the pure one rather than the bad and soft Sector 5. This is just so interesting, and this just enraged me. When Aliens area is on its best position ever, Aliens area is going to be axed in like 6 chapters later, and yeah, that's unfortunate. When we finally get our villain organization that this series is begging to have since the very beginning, that actually speaks of conflict that we will be dealing with in the future, giving this series the purpose that this series needed, and when all of that happened, it got axed. But just like what wise men usually say, enjoy things while it lasts, and I do it. I read this series faithfully and got disappointed in myself because I chose to not read this amazing series earlier where I can support this series to survive. I will leave this series right here so you guys can check this series later on your own. I will go straight up to tell you what makes this series didn't work. The first reason is because this series has only a little bit of spectacle. This series is so easy to read with light-hearted chapters that come and go and lots of filler chapters that may be meant to give this cast the characterization that the main cast will have into the future. Now, there is nothing wrong with giving your character a little bit of depth, rather it's the opposite. Giving your character a dedicated chapter is able to make us see what kind of person a certain character personality will look like. But the fatal flaw is not giving something beyond that characterization. No flashback, no change in the status quo, it's just remain the same. That makes a lot of character in this series, even though it has a dedicated chapter, it doesn't feel like there is something changed in the narrative and in the character that are going through a specific bonding chapter. There are no development whatsoever that makes the filler in this series is a definitive filler that doesn't serve any purpose rather than just a formality. Aliens Area gave the most humble first chapter with plain goal to give to our main cast, like protecting the Earth from extraterrestrial threats. Sure, what kind of threats? That's just so vague that it makes much more sense for this kind of plot to be in a usual comedy/of-life manga that focused on the comedy and absurdity rather than a series battle shonen that only to battle like 5 or 6 times throughout this series. That is not bad connotation because with Aliens Area becoming your usual very shonen manga that doesn't focus on the battle aspect of storytelling, it's just locked the Aliens Area potential that can do so much but chose not to do it. Just like the thing that I said before, no spectacle on this series. Nothing from this manga can make you scream, "This is peak" on your heart. Everything about this Aliens Area is just okay, and that's not bad. But for a company where the bare minimum to survive is sales and popularity, I think Aliens Area is not fit into the hard environmental of Shonen Jump magazine. You guys remember when I said I don't understand how the space technology in this series works?
I actually confused on how most of this space technology works.
It's because not every space technology is given a proper explanation for how some space technology is actually works. With a series that has no power system, when having a power system is the minimum requirement for making a battle shonen manga much more interesting. Instead of that, we have a space technology. And having a space technology in replacement for the absence of the power system, the space technology sure is lame, even compared to your usual spirit energy as your power system. There's your lightsaber, a space gun, a tracking remote, a literal black hole as your equipment, but I don't know why, but this space technology feels so lame. I think the author is on the right track for introducing a unique gimmick that's special only for your series, but the execution doesn't reach the ceiling that makes people really love this space technology. It's frustrating because when this series wants to be good, it can be really good. Like when we got a lore on how Tatsumi Tatsunami got his implants, or the time where Hajime explained that there are a group of humans who stands between the human and alien and chose to take care of an alien in their own way called Polaris is so fascinating to look at. It makes me wonder that there is a lot of things that Alien's area has on its pocket but has no time to actually reveal it to the readers because the cancellation that comes and hit Alien's area like crazy. Also, there is another thing that also frustrates me, and that is the partner/buddy relationship between Hajime and Tatsumi. That may be meant to be a Gon and Killua type of friendship, and that is a high bar to say, but the fact that Tatsumi spent so little time together due to a proper partner/buddy things, when the end series Hajime calls Tatsumi as buddy, it just feels so hollow because there are no development that this relationship blooming beyond its first forming of said partner. There is nothing that this series can show to really make us think that they're the iconic partner that we love to see more. It's baffling for me to think how much the slice of life chapters in this manga, but there is only a little amount of chapter that establish them as a partner. And I just hate the fact that we doesn't get the bonding chapter between Tatsumi and Miwa. That's maybe my most anticipated bonding chapter that to this day I still want to see. Even with all of that fatal flaws, there's still this part of myself that still thinks that this series can survive. Because the final arc of this series is able to lift this series into its most absolute potential with this series that are introducing another team that resides in the Sector 5. Each of these phases is just so fascinating. We see some familiar face like the leader from the Team 5 that we've already seen in the several chapters earlier that makes this supposed intense chapter to become slightly not so intense. You have your old man that looks unreliable and selfish, but deep down is actually care for his work in the Sector 5. There's your smart and beautiful lady that may be focused on operating a technology, and there's your gloomy but handsome person, and lots of other leaders that just teases my curiosity. And this is the lore dump that this series is usually good at. This is just the quirk that short-lived manga usually have, where in the end of its lifetime, this manga tends to give everything that this series can offer us and strive to be the manga that many people can remember. But even with all of that bang, Alien's area stays humble, and I love this series for the way it is. I just love the fact that when we have a human as our main villain, the impact that Yutaka has as the main villain on this series is so bombastic. It makes our conflict with the top universe assassin looks like a child playground. Even though we met him later on the climax of this series to do some slice and capturing, as the requirement for him to return to his home planet, the final arc is really interesting for showing the hidden things beneath the surface, where the Sector 5 is not fully a good guys, a department that only focuses on maintaining the grade for human beings from the extraterrestrial threats. In reality, the department doesn't really care about how the aliens are treated as long as the human live in a good life. Makes me realize that this time we barely touch the surface of what Alien's area able to offer. I love how pure this manga. When your manga is going on to a cancellation in a couple of chapters, usually this manga will going out with a banger. But seems like this author just really love a good storytelling, that he makes a believable story progression with explaining a lot of things about what makes the Yutaka case is an important case that should involve the entire Sector 5 with doing some formal meeting to have the vote of everyone in the Sector 5. That is so interestingly pure, and the author makes sure that he can close his book with a proper and beautiful ending that makes Alien's area at least meaningful to a 5 people who truly care about this series. And I love Yutaka as a main villain because he is not just a pure evil. There is a flashback that makes me care so much about him, when he's being betrayed for putting his hope on others and venting his emotion to the aliens that saw humans as a monkey and low-class creature that doesn't deserve to live. And in the end, I just love that Yutaka has a redemption that makes Yutaka is the example of how to do villains right. Because when he's decided that he will die because he has given up on his life, this is just my speculation, or just can't forgive himself for what he has done. But Tatsumi with his determination just saved Yutaka. That makes Yutaka just laugh at the end. Makes me think that Yutaka is just so dumbfounded with Tatsumi's naivety and learned to accept that maybe Sector 5 is not the bad guys that he thinks Sector 5 actually is. That makes Aliens Area close his story in the most beautiful way possible. Such a pure and beautiful short-lived manga that I want to give my thanks to this series, because I was able to read this series until the end. Read Aliens Area and Kyokuto Necromance to support Fusai Naba to become big in Shonen Jump. And maybe that's it for this video. I hope you love my retrospective look at Aliens Area as a one short-lived manga in 2022. Did you guys read Aliens Area, or you read the new Kyokuto Necromance from Fusai Naba in Shonen Jump? I hope you really read Kyokuto Necromance to support Fusai Naba to become big in Shonen Jump. And yeah, give your opinion about Aliens Area on the comment section below, and maybe see you on the next video next time in 5 months, I guess. Bye bye.